Hey everyone, I want to go to sleep, but before I forget what I just did, I wanted to make the video because I think it's a good improvement and a great spot to make a video. First, I did update Unity to fix some of the bugs to a new version that introduced another bug, so the mobile has to be built with the ARM version 7, I believe, in 5.3.2 patch 1. So there's that. I fixed some of the bugs. I fixed a couple of the other bugs. I forget exactly how. Kind of just fiddled with things until it worked. So somewhere along the line, I was going wrong, I guess. But what I've done today is added the ability to click on enemies to attack them. So so right now you can of course use keys. I don't know if that was there before, but you can use the A key to attack, the S key to shoot, the D key to block, and the F key to quick cast. And then now you can also click on the enemies. They have to have a collider, of course, but you can click on the enemies, and if you're close enough, you can attack. If you're further, you'd shoot if you have a bow, theoretically, and if they're too far, you can't do anything with it. So um, let me show you where this lives. In our control objects, we have a new script here called screen click, and so for the mouse, it searches for the do mouse click here if the touch count is 0 and the mouse button down is 0, and then we can probably make this either mouse button. You can always adjust that if you need to, but either mouse button is down and the UI was not touched, because we don't want people to be able to click through buttons. If they select a character, we don't want them to also attack the enemy that happens to be behind that character's portrait. So make sure every button has a UI was touched component on it. If you've forgotten what that looks like, it's right here on this event trigger, mobile joystick control, the touch UI function. It sets that boolean for 1 frame. That way, in the game here, I can click on the character's portraits and I won't attack the enemy that's right behind that character. That basically calls this do mouse click. This is almost exactly the example from the Unity tutorials or the manual. I did add a layer mask so that we only click on things that we want. Right now it's only on enemy. In the future we'll also include pickups and things like triggers, like switches and doors and whatnot. So and NPC characters and all that. So we'll check for all of those types of things. So for now we just have it for enemies. We're assuming it's an enemy. We have our distance between our position and the position of what we just clicked on. The distance is less than the max melee distance, and we do that attack, and we're now passing the object we're attacking to the attack button, and same with the shoot. So that doesn't really do anything yet. We pass null values if we did not click on something. Eventually, if we did not click on something, then it will choose the closest enemy to the player based on their view frame, and otherwise it will attack the enemy that we clicked on. So that's why we need to pass that on there. For mobile, we do it slightly differently. We start with our mobile joystick control, and for our touch phase began, we want to make sure that that we haven't clicked on a screen object. So the began phase will create a joystick for either the camera rotation or the movement, but we don't want that to happen if we click on an enemy or an NPC. It would look kind of funny, and it would, if somebody clicks on or taps on the enemy, we want them to attack that enemy. So we first check this function, screen click and screen touch object, and that this function right here, it's going to return a boolean that's going to set to be false. We'll return hit object, which we're going to set to false. We're only going to allow one touch, so no multi-touch for this. That would be confusing. And it's the same code up here, basically. If instead of using instead of using input mouse position, we're using our touch position. And our touch is our first touch position, and if we hit something, then we set this Boolean hit object to true, and that will return true. And so if this returns true, we won't do the rest of the actions here. If it returns false, then we'll start the stuff. Now it does all work, which is great. It's pretty simple, and it sets the stage for some really intuitive battling action in the turn-based modes, relatively quick, so you can just tap on things you want to attack if you want to be strategic about your attacks, or you can just use the buttons and attack whoever happens to be in the front. That's pretty much it. The bugs were all fixed. Things are working. Most of the bugs were fixed. One potential thing that I might have to change is getting rid of the ability to hide the joystick controls, because there could be situations where your entire left or right frame is covered by enemies, but you might want to rotate the camera, and if there's only enemies here, you won't be able to rotate the camera. So I may have to add either a constant button here that acts as a constant joystick button that doesn't disappear, or make it so the joysticks never actually disappear. So if you tap the joystick, and that's the first thing that gets checked, because there could be situations on mobile where your entire view is covered by enemies, and you wouldn't actually be able to move or rotate the camera, which could be a sticky situation to be in. So that's one thing I'll have to keep in mind as we move forward. All right, have a great day, guys.